Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong, try to isolate an angle to the race that might be a path to finding the winner. Well, we're getting back to our normal schedule this weekend, Sunday racing at Sha Tin with a mixed meeting. And the first race we're going to take a look at is race 4, where our winning factor is the draw. Now, this is a Class 4, 1800 metres, and there are certainly no stars of the turf engaged here. But of course, there's always a winner to find, and I think there will be quite a few different runners with fans here, including the likes of Serangoon, Pakistan Friend, and Super Contented. They all have some claims, amongst maybe a few others, but my focus is on 3 in particular, Mr Dapper and Jubilation, who clashed recently, and Special Hedge, who has a suitable draw. But in particular, I want to focus on the 2 horses who clashed on December 23 over 2,000 metres, and that's Mr Dapper and Jubilation. Now we're going to have a look at that race. This is race 269. Yellow and green from gate 10 is Jubilation, and Mr Dapper, 2 gates inside him, grey colours with yellow and black hoop sleeves. And as the gates open, they both push forward. Now that's usually not ideal from the 2,000 metre start, which goes straight onto a bend, and both are spending some energy early. But Mr Dapper in particular pays a high price for the positive tactics. After being set alight to get forward, you can see he fights the rider Karis Teton the whole way. Now, it isn't all beer and skittles for Jubilation either. He's more relaxed, but he's still worked 3 wide into the back, albeit in a very slow pace. But no sooner does he get up outside the leader and ready to relax than Wonder Years loops around the field to apply some pressure to the lead. And you can see on the heat map the pace picks up and Jubilation has to get running again with half the race still to go. So in the stretch, Mr Dapper, well, his energy has long since been spent fighting his rider. He plugs away, but Jubilation, he finds enough of a kick, despite that extra work, to go on and win bravely. As I said, certainly no champions there or in this race on Sunday, but we're really focused here on the race shape, and I don't think that either horse really got a great race shape there. And what I mean by race shape is how energy is spent at different points of the race. As we saw there, Jubilation, he had to spend a little bit of energy early going around towards the lead in a slow pace, but then had to spend quite a bit more energy from the halfway mark. Meanwhile, Mr Dapper, he spent all his energy, well, he was just fighting the rider after being sent forward against what is his usual pattern in his races. So race shape, very important to how races turn out, and the reason we look at maps is so that we can have some sort of prediction about the shape of the race. And when we look at the map for Sunday's race, the leaders once again look to have some sort of advantage in this race in what looks a slow early speed. Jubilation, Pakistan Friend, they're probably the most likely to look for the lead, with Darcy Joy and Special Hedge, as I mentioned, from a better gate this time, taking up close positions behind the lead. Now, that was a 2,000 metre race in the replay we saw. The 1,800 metre course is a totally different configuration. This time there's a 1,000 metre straight run before the first turn, so there's no hurry for horses to try and get positions. I certainly don't think that we'll see Hugh Bowman ride Mr Dapper that same way, especially from a better draw this time. He'll be focused on getting him more relaxed in behind them and finishing off. And Jubilation, he also doesn't have to do the same amount of work to take up his position on or near the lead coming into a lower gate this time. So unless we see another looping run, and Wonder Years isn't here this time, the leaders should get to dictate the race, quicken off the 800 metre turn and make the task of those chasing. And Mr Dapper, well, he should be more relaxed and poised this time with some energy to finish the race off. So the tip from me is Mr Dapper. His winning factor, the draw. Now the race shape, as I said, probably against both of these horses when they last met. One went on to win, one failed as favourite, but I think there's not a lot between them in this race on Sunday. But I like the fact that Mr. Dapper's going to be able to save energy this time instead of use it all up. And he also gets a little weight swing in his favour, which certainly won't hurt. The other race I want to look at is the final race, race 10, and our winning factor here, the map. Now, like all Class 2s, this is a good quality field, and we've certainly had some great Class 2 form this season. But I think the serious winning chances here will boil down to just 3 runners. Helios Express and Dancing Code stepping up to 1600 metres for the first time, and the Best Peach, who is the best of those in the race, I think, who are proven at the distance. So let's have a look first at the Best Peach, who's coming back from 1800 metres last month at Happy Valley, where he did a pretty good job in running third. This is race 231, he's in gate 7, pink and orange colours, and the Best Peach actually jumps okay, but gets some trouble soon after the start. And he's a horse who tends to drift back anyway, but that really seals it for him, and he's soon at the rear in a race where, nevertheless, the pace is genuine, so that does help him. Now, there's no pickup in the leaders when they pass the 800 metres. In fact, the leaders at that point are starting to slow down, and the back markers start to take over and get into the race with their fresh legs. The Best Peach, he gets pushed off the track, but he keeps coming in dogged fashion and finishes third across the line. So certainly no issues with him for 1600 metres, where he has won, but there are possibly issues for his 2 main rivals, Dancing Code and Helios Express, who are trying this distance for the first time. Now, they met in a 1400 metre race on International Day. We're going to take a look at that now. It's race 241. They're in the outside gates, red and black Dancing Code, and immediately inside him in purple colours, Helios Express. And neither really in a hurry from the gates, as the speedier horses inside look for the front. But you can see in that second section, the brakes go right on in the lead. The 2 we're watching now have the tempo right against them as the leaders just coast for quite a bit of the race, and a few of the runners we even see over racing and pulling. Now, around the circle, as the speed picks up sharply again, the eventual winner in light blue, Taj Dragon, he's 3 wide with some cover and has Helios Express on his back, and Dancing Code is on his back. And in the straight, these 3 come to the outside and ultimately fight it out, with Taj Dragon getting the best of it, and late Dancing Code is stronger than Helios Express and beats him home for second. Now, they have to each go an extra 200 metres here, but the value of that form was certainly shown last week when we saw Taj Dragon come out against the big boys in Group 3 and win that race. So it's certainly strong form for another Class 2 this Sunday. Now, we did see that at the end of the race, Dancing Code was stronger than Helios Express over the 1400 metres. It's certainly a pointer to him being stronger than that horse when they go the extra 200 metres on Sunday. But then the map comes into play, because this also looks a race where the pacemakers will likely get to rest themselves mid-race before sprinting home. Now, once again, Dancing Code and also the Best Peach have wide gates and not too many options with their racing style, except to get right back in the field. Helios Express, well, he's not a speed player himself, but with a much better draw this time than those 2 main rivals, he won't have to spend any energy at all to simply drop out into a good position here from the gates and trail the lead, a very relaxed lead, and then have a head start as they sprint home. So the tip from me in race 10, Helios Express, his winning factor, the map. Now, as I said, you could certainly read into that last run that Dancing Code is going to be stronger over the extra distance, but that was sitting on the back of Helios Express in the run. This time he's going to be 2 or 3 lengths further back, and that might just swing it the way of Helios Express. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.